Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Elise. If you're tuning in for the first time, this is our weekly series on Spiceworks 6, which is now in beta. And the reason why we're doing this is because we wanted to do something fun that would bring you the latest and greatest on Spiceworks 6, which is going to be an awesome release with a bunch of really cool stuff in it. And also give you guys more information so you can get in and test and help us make the product even better than it already is. Today we're going to be covering the #1 requested and long-awaited feature, Knowledge Base. And we're going to have Chris and David doing a Q&A, after which we're going to have David and Stephen answering your live questions. So you'll have to apologize. We are live. We had a couple of technical difficulties this morning. You may have seen my blog post a little while ago. Ustream, which is what we usually use, is down at the moment for some unknown reason. Something to do with the Russians, apparently. I don't really know. But we're using a different service altogether. And so you may have seen an ad that popped up right before the live stream. The other thing that happened is that the chat window where you normally send your questions may or may not be working. So just to be safe, to send your questions in, you can use Twitter, #Spiceworks6, and we can pick them up that way. Or I also just did a post in the community in the Spiceworks 6 group. It's in the announcement portion, so you can go there and leave your questions there as well. Everybody that sends a question in and has that question answered, also there's construction upstairs, so there's also that kind of noise. So anyway, it's all good fun. But secondly, if you want to send your questions in the Spiceworks 6 group, in that post, we'll pick those up too. And everybody that gets their questions answered is going to win a super cool limited edition USB flash drive, which I think Bryce is showing at the moment. This we actually have available. I will send them out as soon as the broadcast is over. So be sure to send me actually your email, your mailing address if I announce your name. Remind me to do that so I can send those out to you. Anyway, they're super cool, 4 gig, and you're going to want one. So send your questions in. I think that's it for the updates. So now let's get a little sneak peek of Knowledge Base in action.
The Spiceworks Knowledge Base. You've been asking for it, and it's finally here. But we're not just going to give you some bland, empty knowledge base. This one is powered by the Spiceworks community. When you first access the knowledge base, you'll instantly have access to the over 2,000 how-tos in the Spiceworks community. You can display these how-tos in your own knowledge base, where you can edit them to match your own network configurations, or create your own articles. You can choose to display them to only yourself, your fellow admins, or to your end users through the user portal or email. Maybe you'll even be able to help them help themselves without actually having to create a ticket. If you're really feeling helpful, you can share them with your fellow IT pros in the Spiceworks community. And who knows, maybe even get some Spice points for doing so. Help us test the knowledge base by installing the Spiceworks 6 beta, just not in production, and then letting us know what you think. You can find the download in the Spiceworks 6 group in the community.
Hi everybody, my name is Chris. I'm the Director of IT here at Spiceworks, and with me is David Babbitt, our Technical Program Manager, Lead Developer, Code Writer guy.
Thanks, Chris. Great intro.
So last time we spoke, you bemoaned the fact that you didn't really get to write a lot of code. A lot of that was spent at night writing code. I don't know, I just checked Git, and there's an awful lot of check-ins with David Babbitt on it.
Did you notice the time on those check-ins?
No, I don't look at things like timestamps. I'm in IT.
Yeah, I got to work on the knowledge base a little bit. That's good.
Good.
Yep.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about the knowledge base in Spiceworks 6? What kind of problems is it going to solve for the IT pro?
Okay, so I think with all things Spiceworks, what we're trying to do is make you IT guys better at your job, so better, more effective IT guys. The knowledge base is no different, and so what we want to do is, if you find yourself frequently carrying out, these sort of repetitive procedures, or Googling often and finding the same answers to common problems that you have, or if you use the help desk and you find yourself repeating answers or procedures back to your users, the idea of the knowledge base is to capture all this information that you use often, so that you and your team can refer to it.
Okay. What are some of the major features?
So I think the demo showed you a little bit of the highlights, but I would kind of give you 3 major features. The first one is definitely just the simple feature of you and your team being able to write articles that, repetitive steps, tips, tricks, whatever, things about your environment, just for like you and the 4 other guys that we have here, 5 other guys that we have here, to share that knowledge amongst the team. The second thing would be if you're sort of, imagine most IT guys are pretty much buried in work. You don't even have the time to write your own articles. And so what we wanted to do is create an environment where you can benefit from the knowledge of others. For other IT guys that are out there using Spiceworks that are willing to share their knowledge amongst everybody, you'll be able to go through and just kind of curate the articles that you find that are useful for you and your team. And I'll be doing a demo here in a little bit and show you that. And then the last thing is if you've got lots of users, and potentially some of the things that you're going to save inside of your knowledge base are steps for them to help themselves. And so we wanted to add that feature to where you can send them an article if you're using the help desk, for example, or put it on the user portal, something like that, and then they can help themselves. So maybe unjam the printer or change the toner, things like that they can do.
So what prompted this feature, besides the 5,000 user requests?
Well, there was that. So a few years ago, somebody asked for this in the feature request list, and it's grown to be the most popular one. We've picked off a few of the other ones, certainly, and so now it's the most popular feature, so we've been working on it. We started a couple of years ago by creating how-tos in the community. So primarily, we didn't want to create a knowledge base that started off empty. And so we wanted to create a bunch of how-tos in the community, so when we finally built the knowledge base, when you went in there was a rich set of content already available for you to use. And so we created how-tos a couple of years ago, and then walking by right now is our CEO, Scott Abel. He actually promised this in front of everybody at Spice World, and I was sitting in the audience. And I said, really, we're going to build that? So here I am.
Yeah, nice. Props to Scott for getting a feature in there.
That's great. Thanks so much for reminding everybody of that.
There we
go. So what all goes into developing something like a knowledge base?
So it started off with going through, that feature request has grown to 18 pages. And so I went through all the comments and sort of categorized the different sorts of sub-features that people wanted out of it. And focused on, for this first build, focused on the most important, the most common ones, right? And so I think the implicit one is just being able to write and save some sort of content. The second most common feature is being able to share with your users. And so I went through that, and then I looked at about 6 competing products just to get an idea of the types of things that they do. And I would say with everything Spiceworks, we're trying to do, an easy solution to like the 80% problem. And so looking at those features, those products, but kind of ignoring the really complicated stuff that they've done, and just focus on the common parts that they have. And from there, we go through lots of mock-ups on what looks right. We have a UI team and designers that review our mock-ups and make sure that we're all consistent. And I sense that there's something going on off camera here. So anyway, we do that, and then it's about a couple of months of slaving away on the code, and that's where we are right now. So we're in the beta. Obviously, we're asking for feedback on the features right now as they exist. We still have, I think, 2 big drops left on knowledge base specifically, so we'll be looking for more feedback on those features as we create them.
Okay. Well, I think you have a demo.
That's right.
Queued up for us.
So I know Jonathan made that video, and it shows you some of the highlights of the knowledge base. So here what we're looking at is a similar knowledge base, and so this is using just an app that I've got installed in a VM, and I'm using a stripped-down version of the community. So what you see here is when you first land in the knowledge base, you see all these articles that are recommended for me, based on who I'm following in the community, based on what vendors I'm following, stuff like that. And so you can see I can use any of these. So I didn't have to write any articles. That was one of the primary things that we wanted to get out of this, was I can use articles as they exist in the community already. So I'm a big fan of VMware. They don't pay me for that, but if they're willing. So I'll search VMware here, and if I want to use any of these articles, hey, I don't even have to I don't even have to write anything of my own. I can just go and continually refer back to this article inside of the community. So let's say that I find a real gem of an article, and I want to be able to use it for myself and for my team. What we did was we created this bookmarking feature. So I'm going to go and search for our most famous how-to, which is Justin Davison's disaster recovery plan for the zombie apocalypse. And so I look at his how-to. He talks a lot about protecting your server room, stocking your ammo, things like that. And so I want to save this one, so I use this bookmark feature at the top. And so I bookmark that article, and then now, when I go back over to the My Team view, what you're going to see in here is all of the articles that I've, let me remove the search, all the articles that I've saved for my team, and you can see all the bookmark icon over here. So these are ones that I didn't even write. So you can create this knowledge base without ever having to really write anything of your own. And that was kind of our goal. We recognize that a lot of you are just buried in work and writing articles. It sounds a little bit like unicorns. You'll never have time to do anything like that. And so we want you to be able to benefit from the efforts of others. And so you can bookmark these other how-tos that people have written. And then if you write your own, they'll show up in this My Team view. Let me switch tabs here. Here's from the view of another user. This is another admin inside of the same Spiceworks install. So you can see here inside of the My Team view, he also sees all the things that any of his teammates have bookmarked. And so he gets the benefit of his teammates. You can see on his own Mine tab, he's never written anything of his own. So here he has a knowledge base specific to his environment, yet he's never written an article of his own. And then back over here on the Mine tab, I'll show you what it looks like to author one. So what you're looking at is the build that'll be coming out on Monday. Or maybe Tuesday, I'm not sure. So here's the one that I wrote for myself. And so how to enable the SSH server on the free version of VMware. So I just wrote this one this morning. A couple of quick, simple steps on how to do that. And if you want to edit it, you can go in here, change the different steps that you've written. And then if you want to share it with others, share it with my team. That would share it with all the other people inside of your copy of Spiceworks. Or if you think this is one that everybody inside of Spiceworks all around the world will benefit from, then you can share it with everybody. And so I'm just going to share this one with my team, do the save down here at the bottom. And there you go. Now you can see that my team, visible to my team, back over here on my teammates view. Now he can see the article that I wrote and shared with him. So that's a little bit of a demo there. Chris?
Well, that's a fascinating product that we've got there. Raise your hand out there if you're excited about this one. Well, back to Elise.
All right, cool. Thanks so much, guys. That was great. Don't forget, send your questions in. You can send them in using Twitter, #Spiceworks6, or you can use the post in the Spiceworks 6 group in the announcement section. Get those sent in, and if we answer them live on the air, you will win one of these. Super cool. Oh, so cool. 4 gigs. Awesome. Very cool. Okay. One other little public service announcement. You all probably already know that April was National Poetry Month. And also coincided with the first beta release going in on April 6th. And so to celebrate all of that happening, we've got a SpiceQuest contest happening in the community, which you can find out about on the Spiceworks page, which is community/page/Spiceworks. So go in there and get all of the details on how you can get involved. There are 3 very easy things that you can do to learn about Spiceworks 6. And if you do all of those things, you will get a really cool badge, SpiceQuest badge, and you will also be entered to win a $500 Visa gift card, which is awesome. So go check that out. And speaking of poetry, we have a special guest who is going to be doing a poetry reading from the community specific to knowledge base.
That's right. You're in for quite a treat. One of the first submitted poems from Tori. 6 is the number, man, and the merger of light. Light is knowledge which has a base. Combine the man with the light, and you too shall shine as the knowledge base. So fear not the user into a loser, but upgrade them with some spice, which is now 6 times as nice, and let the light shine. And the second one from The Mind. The base of knowledge appears, 6 seal of Spiceworks, broken after all these years. And a little bit longer from Gadget Gal. When sipping my first cup of coffee, I hear something is up when they copy. The network connection and IP correction soon got it fixed and running dandy. Next, checking my email for issues. I can't help but bring out the tissues. Few tickets in sight, so everything's all right. A miracle, Spice, I could kiss you. So thanks to the movers and shakers who are nothing like candlestick makers. They cooked lots of bacon, fairy dust in the making, and unicorns floating and shaking. Then out came an earth-shattering roar like no one had heard before. Out he came with a flex, that all-seeing giant T-Rex, with new features than ever before. With knowledge and info galore, who could ask for anything more? Yet lo and behold, as it was pre-told, Spiceworks 6 is rolling out the door. So those users who seem never around, to keep their devices firm on the ground, to keep track of roaming devices, to recommend you as many advices, Spiceworks agent can track that thing down. Then there's that pie in the sky. This has been the Spiceworks 6 Poetry Corner.
And Matt, everybody, with the Poetry Corner. That was awesome. So all of those poems, poets and poetesses who were represented there will also win a USB flash drive. That was awesome. If you would like your shot at it, there is a poetry post in the contest group. So send yours in. We're going to be doing this again next week because why wouldn't we? It was that good. So just a reminder, get your questions in using the post or using Twitter. And we're going to go straight into the live Q&A with David Babbitt asking questions of Stephen, whose birthday it happens to be today.
All right. Hi, everybody. We're now sitting here with Steven. Steven's one of the developers on the knowledge base product, and like Elise said, it's his birthday today, so happy birthday, Steven.
Hello, Spice World. It's good to be here. I know you guys are really excited about the coming knowledge base feature, judging by the comments in the feature request section. It's something that everybody is highly anticipating, and we're really excited to get it rolled out here as well.
So I noticed you have a hat there. I hope
Yes.
that you're going to put that on. Okay, good.
So
Incidentally, while
Elise
Steven's
mentioned-
putting that on, I was thinking during the poems that maybe you do have enough time to write your knowledge base articles for your team. So plenty of time to write some pretty cool poems there. All right, so let's cut to the questions. All right, so the first question that we have here, will your knowledge base be accessible to users through for non-admin users? Could it be inserted as a tab or a module in your portal? So this comes from Patrick Kelly. Thank you, Patrick.
Yes, so that is definitely a feature that is planned. It's going to be not in the coming beta, but it's planned for the next beta window after this one that's coming out next week. So we will have some portal integration that will allow you to selectively choose which articles you'd like to add to your portal, and then you can email those out to your users, and they can go directly to the portal and read their instructions there.
Yeah, or if you're using the help desk, you could respond in a note with the URL.
Right.
Something like that, yeah. All right, great. So Ross 207, will there be permission-based control over the knowledge base for viewing and control? Permission-based control. Well,
So
I don't know exactly what he's after there, but
we do have the 3 levels of privacy that are built into the how-tos right now, which are mine, which is basically only visible to you. That gives you a way to kind of work on a draft or keep an article that's private to only you. And then you can either choose to share that with your team if it's something that's specific to only your company and you want to keep it private to your internal team. And then at that point you can also share it with your portal, or also you can share it with everyone in the community, and then it acts as a shared knowledge base for everyone out there on the internet.
that's right. Yeah, so I don't know if he was after other permissions we might talk about would be the ability to edit. So if you've shared it with your team, any of you can collaborate on it, so you can all edit the articles that you're sharing amongst your teammates. While it's private, of course, only you can see it, so therefore only you can edit it. So I don't know if he was after that, but yeah, good answer. So this comes from W. Patterson 82. Will we be able to group knowledge base information by Active Directory group membership? Short answer is no.
Don't think that we had not considered that, so that didn't come up in our planning.
Yeah, I might want to, if you wouldn't mind, W. Patterson 82, just send me, I'm Babbitt in the community, send me maybe some more private messages just so we can maybe dig into what you're after a little bit there. Might want to queue that one up for a future release. Privacy. What? So I guess I'll address the privacy question. So I showed through the demo that articles can remain private. Stephen mentioned it in his answer. You can certainly have an article that's private to you, so it's like in draft form, like Stephen said. You only want to be able to use this thing yourself. And then the privacy of sharing amongst your teammates, so that would be all the people inside of your copy of Spiceworks, they can see those articles. Nobody else outside of your copy can see those articles. So that could be sort of the environmental types of things, like how to fix this one printer or things like that. And then there's the third privacy setting, which is shared amongst everybody. And so the question might more be alluding to the storage or maybe the security of the articles. And so what we've done with this feature is that we've in order to make the sharing capability available in the first version of the knowledge base, we went ahead and we're storing all of the articles in our community servers databases. And so because of that, we're right now saying that you should probably refrain from putting things like passwords in there. I wouldn't put highly sensitive information in there. But I would guess that maybe there's like a 90-10 sort of breakdown. You've got some articles that are passwords and stuff like that for you and your IT guys to share. I just would not use the knowledge base for that. You can store those things using documents attached to devices and stuff like that. That type of data remains inside of your environment. And then there's the other end of the spectrum, which is a bunch of articles that are like, flashing a PERC adapter. In my case, the one that I wrote was how to enable the SSH console in VMware. This has nothing to do with my environment. I don't see any reason why you should be concerned that maybe we're storing that article in our community database. And somewhere in between, there's a huge gray area of whether the stuff that you've written is sensitive information. Should it fall into the wrong hands, which all of our effort is to make sure that it doesn't, but let's say that something goes wrong. Should it fall into the wrong hands, is that going to be something that is bad? And I would say that's up to you to decide. I think that if it's it's a customized article that says something about the location of a printer, a host name, or something like that, that's not sensitive. Yeah, it's specific to your environment, but it's not something that's totally sensitive. You're not going to share it with everybody, but the fact that it's stored on our server, I don't think that that's a security concern. So, I guess for sensitive information, you have to decide for yourself. So, good question, I guess. Here we go from maybe Brad Call, I guess, from Twitter. Will the knowledge base be available through the mobile app?
Yes, we will have a mobile app version coming out with knowledge base integration. We just have to get the knowledge base built into the app first, and then we can gently roll it out to the mobile. So
yeah, Francis is standing off camera here. He says a couple of drops, I think. So yeah, so we're redoing the mobile app to be a tablet application, and so it's going to be baked into the tablet app, I think, in a couple of drops.
Very
Good question. So this one comes in from Justin TV from something machine time. I can't read. Will you be able to convert a ticket to a knowledge base article?
So that is another thing that we considered, and it will be very useful. It's probably not going to be in this 6.0 release, but we would definitely have our eyes on that, and we want to work on the knowledge base integration with the help desk to make that a much more seamless integration, so that you can just quickly put articles into your tickets, basically, and quickly respond with your articles and associate them with your tickets. So that's definitely something that's coming.
Yeah, if you went through, like I said earlier, if you go through the feature request thread, the most common one was being able to share them with your users. I would guess the second most common one, if I had to count them all, was some kind of integration with your help desk. So when you're working a ticket, that it suggests knowledge base articles that would help you potentially solve that ticket, and then you can have common responses and things like that. So definitely, it wasn't for the first build, but we'll be doing that in a future version of the knowledge base. All right, this comes in from Habco Katie. Can't read the handwriting. What search capabilities does the knowledge base have, such as full text, related users, etc.?
So there is the full text search. It searches through all the content, the title, the content from the article, and all the steps. I'm not sure about related user search, because we don't relate knowledge base articles to users at the moment, so that would not be.
Yeah, other than the recommendations view, which does show you articles that the people that you're following inside of Spiceworks.
Right.
I mean, if you are in the community and you are following other users, it'll recommend articles that they've written. But we don't, in the search results, we don't necessarily rank them based on whether you have a relationship with that user or anything like that. So. Okay. Another one, will we be able to embed video in screenshots, I think?
Yes, we do have attachments that you can add to each of your steps at the moment, and we'll probably be also rolling out other formats of articles to extend that to be more broadly, generally helpful for other types of articles.
All right, another question, good question, JD Moorcraft. Are we going to be able to track and publish most frequently asked questions, i.e. rank on popularity? Are we going to be able to track and publish?
So
I guess we don't really have visibility into
there is
the most frequently asked.
No, but there is sorting mechanisms based on various attributes like the spiciness rankings within the community, and the relevance of your search, of course, if you're searching, hopefully it'll come up with the more relevant articles.
Right.
And so, but we don't have an internal ranking mechanism to specifically, you can mark articles bookmarked, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I guess our spiciness algorithm is the closest approximation to what you're asking for, and since our spiciness algorithm doesn't really factor in how popular it is in terms of views or search hits or anything like that, it just is based literally on votes, then, you know, that's the best measure that we have right now.
Yeah, it's probably a proxy of how popular it is.
All right, so I guess we created a spice list for questions to ask, and so here's the number one spice list question with 16 votes. Will we be able to have IT-only and user-only knowledge-based articles?
I think we covered that with basically you can share certain articles with your users in the portal, so hopefully that would cover that need.
Yeah. All right. Here we go, another one. Is there going to be a way other than an iframe to publish articles outside of Spiceworks? Oh, and into another tool like SharePoint? I would say no.
Maybe they're asking for just export function or...
Yeah, we don't. Is the export visible inside the community?
I'm not sure that we do that at the moment.
Yeah, so I know that it's come up when I've presented kind of early drafts of the knowledge base in front of other users. It's come up about import and export, and so it's certainly not one of the top things that we were focusing on for the first build. But I am seeking feedback on if you've got other tools that you want to import from, then definitely tell me that. If you've got other tools that you want to export to, then why would you do that? Just keep it inside the knowledge base. No, but yeah, send me that feedback as well. Certainly we'll look at things like that to make them available through SharePoint. Okay, from the spice list, this is got 4 votes. Will the knowledge base articles be categorized?
That is another good question. So right now, the community process for categorizing articles is somewhat of a manual one where we have our own people in here internally that actually categorize those things for us. So we're going to have to work on basically allowing the users to add tags or categories to their articles themselves. But I don't believe that's going to make it into this.
Yeah, not in the current release. Certainly they're categorized inside the community, but like Steven said, those are categorized by us. They're not categorized by you. So I think our goal is first to enable that function for you guys to categorize, like Steven said, tag them yourselves and categorize them yourselves. And once we have that, then we'll make it to where even inside the knowledge base in the application, you'll be able to categorize and browse by category. All right, so from Mike Mill 828, will we be able to create multiple separate knowledge bases for different services we use, such as one for email and one for the phone system? Sounds a little bit like categories, but...
Yeah, I'm not sure. I guess that would be more just relating to how you do categorize or how you search for a certain article. If you include, you know, the phone system and that happens to be inside the article, it'll obviously pull that article out. So it's more a capability of the search, I think, which we've been trying to focus on mostly.
Yeah, so if the question is also kind of related to permissions, if you've got essentially groups of users that have different responsibilities and you don't really want to expose, we have just the single team concept, if you don't want to expose all articles to all teammates.
That may have been that AD question also.
That might have been. So we don't, I mean, Spiceworks in general doesn't have a lot of user grouping, well, basically no user grouping, and so we've been talking about doing that longer term. So at the point that we start doing user grouping inside of Spiceworks, we'll have to revisit all these sorts of things. So, you know, how to view inventory, how to view tickets, how to view knowledge-based articles with groups of users. Right now, I mean, your best thing would be to just install another copy of Spiceworks, and if you really need to segregate all the content. And here's our last question from W. Penman 3. Is the knowledge base searchable directly from the ticket view?
Not at the moment, but like we said, we are going to be connecting the tickets with the knowledge base. So that's something that'll be coming in the future.
Yeah, good answer. So thanks for all the great questions, everybody. I think now we're going to turn it over to Elise.
Great. Thanks so much. That was a great Q&A. Thanks so much, guys. Happy birthday, Steven. I'm sure that's exactly how you wanted to spend your birthday. You did an awesome job. Thank you. Thank you also for bearing with us. You may have heard it sounded like jets flying overhead, but again, construction. And so anyway, thank you all for tuning in and bearing with us. Congratulations to everyone who had their questions answered live. You will be winning the USB flash drive, as well as those people whose poems that Matt read on the air. If you heard your name as one of the questions that was answered or the poems that were read, please send me your mailing address so I can make sure you get that USB port or flash drive. You can send them to Elise at Spiceworks. You can email your address to me, or you can PM me in the community. I'm Elise. Don't forget to follow the Spiceworks 6 group. That's really where you need to go to get all the latest and greatest on when the beta drops are going in, and also find out how you can get involved in testing. And testing and your feedback really are really important aspects of the release cycle, and we really appreciate all of the time and effort that you guys always put into testing and sending your feedback in. It really is what makes the releases as successful as they are. And on top of that, when the final release goes in, it makes your update much more easy and seamless. So go follow the Spiceworks 6 group in the community. Don't forget about the quest. Get in on that. You can win some cool prizes. And you can also find recordings if you missed the past live streams in the Spiceworks 6 group as well, covering all the features that are in the beta now. So that's it from me. Thanks so much, everyone. Don't forget to tune in next Wednesday. We'll be here at 11 a.m., same time, same place. 11 a.m. Austin time, by the way. There was some confusion on that. That's noon on the East Coast, 5 p.m. in the UK. I'm going to stop talking, but thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you all next week.